win for Democratic socialism. The radical left picked up a victory in the red state of Florida's primaries last night. And the top headline today, a Democratic socialist took out her own party opponent who had a lot of funding and name recognition.
Our democracy. This is a violation of the Constitution. It is.
She is now the Democrat nominee for the senator of Florida. That is the Democrat nominee.
Our democracy. This is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order, but y'all.
These people are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. She wants to represent you. You're in Florida. She got like 700,000 votes. She beat Vindman, who was, part of the people that wanted to impeach Trump. Vindman had something like $18 million. She had one. She had no money. She had no business being in the race. And now she is going to be the Democrat nominee against Ashley Moody.
Fighting yet again, party infighting over what is a Democrat? I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Democrat State Representative Angie Nixon with that massive upset over prominent Trump critic and former impeachment cheerleader Alex Vindman. Nixon is a member of the...
Okay, so when you look at this is what the Democrats are, they know she's toast. When you put Vindman and her together, they didn't get as many votes as Ashley Moody did by herself. But the Democrats, the panicans, the doomers, the grifters are all out there going, oh, there's going to be some trouble in the fall. Really? Is that what you're thinking? You think that, sane people are okay with this?
Our democracy. This is a violation of the Constitution.
The Democrat Socialists of America now. She recently joined them, she said. However, they did not endorse her at the national or the local level. Interesting. Here's a look at her platform. She supports government-run socialized medicine, free child care, free paid family and sick leave, a national rent freeze and stopping all evictions, universal jobs, big tax hikes on those deemed wealthy, and the big socialist favorite, abolishing immigration customs enforcement.
Stop evictions, huh? Yeah, that's going to work out very well in probably one of the biggest rental markets in the country in terms of people who have properties to rent out to people coming down on vacation. You want to go with that whole Medicare for all thing. You want to just let the borders be wide open. Yeah, you got 700,000 people to vote for you. I have no idea. Don't really care. But the problem is now you got to go against a huge candidate in Ashley Moody. And I and many other people don't think she has a prayer. Now, yeah, a lot of the Democrats who voted for Vindman are probably just get behind her. But here's what's going to happen. And this is where it becomes problematic, not for us, but for her. Now, because she's the Democrat nominee, whatever Democrat means anymore, but now that she's the Democrat nominee, she's going to be on television everywhere. She'll be on MSNBC. She'll be on CNN. She'll be on NBC, ABC, all these different, from now until November, she is going to be on television. She is not savvy. She is not well-versed. She just became a socialist, and now they're going to put her on camera everywhere. Good luck with that intense, that lens on you for the next 3 months.
Enforcement, or ICE. A lot of people may not be very familiar with who she is. Here is Angie Nixon.
I want to abolish for-profit prisons because I believe right now people aren't educating our children and they're ushering them into the school to prison pipeline because they want to exploit labor.
School to prison pipeline. That's a new one. They're not educating our kids. Maybe not in your school districts. How many times are people going to rely on, we don't give enough money to the schools. SB showed you the story in New York. You're spending $44,000 per kid in education, but it's not going to the kids. The University of Michigan isn't even publishing people's grades because they've got complete inept students. You want to find out and fix kids and do their education? Maybe you might want to start with the teachers. Not the Republicans, not MAGA, not money. Stop indoctrinating kids and turn them into, actual students. And if they can't read, write, and do arithmetic, then keep them back in school.
It's time for us to stand up and lock arms and be willful accomplice in this fight against.
Notice, you probably can't see, it's kind of dark. Notice the woman standing to her right. Yeah, she needs to stand with her a lot more. We need to see a lot more of that in Florida. That's Rashida Tlaib. I bet you there's a whole lot of Jewish people going, who? You're hanging out with Rashida? Okay.
B1D. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted?
She had a bullhorn on that one. In the governor's primary, Trump-endorsed Congressman Byron Donalds topped a crowded field to win his party's nomination.
All right, so here's what the panicans were saying this morning. The panicans, the grifters, the pollsters, the fraudsters, what they were saying is Byron Donalds isn't a good candidate. He couldn't even get 50% of the vote. What they're not showing you, and maybe you guys are decent in math, you can look at this yourself and say 47 and 25, yeah, that's 72, and then fish back 10 more, that's 82, 83%. Where's the rest? Well, that's because there was like 20 candidates. He had to run like Trump did. There were literally like 12 or 14 people running to be the Republican candidate. So now they decided this morning what they were going to say is, oh, it's a bad night for the Republicans. Byron Donalds didn't even get 50%. That's because there were so many people running. Now they will coalesce. Now he will get a lot more support, a whole lot more support.
He is here ready to join me in focus. I want to first start with Dana Marie McNichol in Fort Lauderdale. Dana Marie.
Hi, Harris. Good morning. As you mentioned, one of the most surprising outcomes of last night for us here in Florida was that major left-wing victory over an establishment Democrat. So State Representative Angie Nixon, she defeated Alex Vidman with a grassroots campaign. Vidman is a former national security official who was a key witness in President Trump's first impeachment trial. Now, Nixon won by double digits despite raising just under $1 million compared to Vidman's almost $17 million. She gained national attention after her arrest for staging a sit-in outside Governor Ron DeSantis' office. She'll now face Republican Senator Ashley Moody, who got 1.3 million votes. Nixon wasted no time calling.
Hey, Fox, you skipped over the point there. You said how many votes Ashley Moody got, 1.3 million. Where you missed the punchline is she got more votes than the Democrats got combined. Between Nixon and Vidman, the traitor, they only, together, they only got 1.2. And that's with a bunch of people sitting home knowing, oh, yeah, Ashley Moody's going to be the candidate. I bet you she gets close to 1.7, 1.8 in November. The Democrats don't have a prayer.
Her opponent.
She doesn't care about anyone but herself. And so I look forward, Ashley Moody, to taking you on and to whooping you in November, and you will be calling me your senator.
You guys probably haven't met Ashley Moody. Full disclosure, I used to work for her brother. Her brother was my boss, and she is a very nice person. And trust me, she doesn't just think about herself. She was the attorney general that replaced Pam Bondi when Pam Bondi went to Washington. She's far from somebody who only thinks about herself. So now you can see what her campaign strategy is going to be. Her campaign strategy is going to be, she's racist. She only cares about herself. She only cares about billionaires and millionaires. Yeah, I could write the campaign she's going to try and run, but it's going to get worse because nobody knew who she was. Now she's going to try to get on the national stage, and she's going to look even more belligerent.
The socialist test failed for the congressional primary. DSA-backed Oliver Larkin will not advance after losing to moderate pro-Israel Jared Moskowitz in the 25th district here. Larkin tried to mobilize young voters but couldn't break through this affluent, heavily Jewish district where support for Israel was a central issue. And
so this guy decided I showed him yesterday, he tried to run as a DSA candidate to be anti-Israel in the biggest probably Jewish community in the country, if not, New York does. And this community goes to Miami all the way up, a little way past where I am in Boca up to Del Rey. And it's an affluent Jewish community. I am sitting here in this studio in a gated Jewish community. This guy didn't have a prayer. He got beat by 30 points. It was embarrassing. And so now you got another DSA candidate with, Nixon. Good luck.
District 20, Democrat Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz also fended off a younger progressive DSA-backed challenger, Elijah Manley. Now, on the Republican side, two House candidates backed by President Donald Trump lost.
So I don't know why they gloss over this stuff. Moskowitz, the guy's name is Moskowitz in the Democrat side, who beat the other guy, the other DSA guy, Moskowitz. And now Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who they hate. They really, but even then, they voted for, let me guess, the Jewish woman over the DSA guy. And he got absolutely annihilated. I mean, just crushed. The Panicans will make you think like, oh, the Republicans are losing ground, and they won't mention this is the Democrat side only. This isn't the Republican side. The Republican side was won by Scott Singer, who happened to be the former mayor of Boca Raton, who we've had on the show. So don't listen to the Panicans and the grifters on X because they're not here.
Their primary bids. The president said he told Congressman Corey Mills to get out of the race, but he wouldn't listen. Mills is facing assault allegation towards women. Trump is putting his support behind the winner, Ryan Elijah. And as you mentioned, as expected, Byron Donalds secured the GOP nomination for governor. He will face former Republican Congressman David Jolly, who is hoping to turn Florida blue, positioning himself as a moderate.
I'm going to show you some stuff about David Jolly, who is positioning himself as a moderate. Sure.
Look, I reject the DSA. I reject socialism. I'm a capitalist, and I think capitalism provides the greatest amount of economic mobility. I have been with Angie on the trail, and I'll tell you this, she's a fighter. She leaves it all on the field.
So you're a Democrat, anti-socialist, capitalist, who was running for the Democrat governorship, and now your sidekick is a Senate candidate who's riding with you on the ticket, who's a socialist. I got to get some popcorn for this. How are you telling everybody I rebuke socialism? Yet, hey, here's my running mate here.
And Harris, those are two very different Democratic candidates, Jolly and Nixon. So it's going to be interesting to see how the identity of the Democratic Party shapes up going into the midterms.
All right. Thank you very much, Dana Marie. In focus now, Congressman Byron Donalds, Republican nominee for the great state of Florida for governor there. First of all, congratulations on your big win last night. I want to jump right in. You have a rally coming up tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that and how you're coalescing and bringing the whole Republican Party together in the state of Florida as you run. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But first of all, tell me how you won last night and what you think about your opponent, David Jolly. We just heard a little bit about him.
Well, first, we had great support from President Trump, Republicans all through our states. Second, our team, we did a great job of just being consistent, being focused, taking our message to the people of Florida. We knocked over 500,000 doors through the primary process, whilst having events really all through Florida, some of them rallies, some of them just question and answer periods where I got an opportunity to hear directly from the people of our state. And it all came together quite nicely for us with a major victory last night. So we're very excited. But when you talk about David Jolly, and I think that clip you just played, one creates a problem, not just for him, but for the Democrat Party. He says that he disavows socialism. So is he going to vote for Angie Nixon? Because Angie Nixon is a Democrat socialist of America. This is why I say that David Jolly is a Trojan horse for the DSA, because he's going to campaign like a moderate. But the truth is, Harris, he will govern like a radical, just like Angie Nixon, just like how Abigail Spanberger's doing in Virginia, the same radicalism in some of these heavy blue states that has forced people to leave their states and choose the free state of Florida. The reason why we are the exception, the reason why we're the best state in America is because we reject socialism, we reject Democrat politics, and we focus on common sense, conservative principles. That's why Florida's #1, and we're going to prove that point through this campaign and win this November.
Look,
You see, one of the things I don't have any way. I will always tell you if I have evidence versus just my feeling. My feeling is some of the people who don't like Byron Donalds don't like the fact that President Trump endorsed him. They hate Trump so much. These panicans, grifters, and fraudster pollsters hate Trump so much. By proxy, they have to hate Byron Donalds. They have to, because that would mean that Trump knows what he's doing. Even though you look at the stats, you can see how many people Trump endorses actually win, how he is a kingmaker for the Republican Party. The fact is, they want, as I said earlier, President Trump to apologize to MTG, apologize to Tucker Carlson, apologize to Alex Jones, and on and on and on. There's no apology needed. We're here to win this, not appease people on X.
It's no secret it's the one of the home states of President Trump anyway. And you mentioned him. His poll numbers may not be very good right now, but his endorsements carry a ton of weight. And there is a war going on and there's pressure on our gas prices. But people still know he's a kingmaker.
Now I want you to look at these numbers, because not a lot of people. I went through them very fast earlier, and I was giving you these exact numbers. But these are President Trump's endorsements for this primary season. Senate, 100%. U.S. House, 98. Governorships, 75. Overall, a 97% endorsement win rate. 97%. So how could Trump's numbers be so bad? How can his approval numbers be so bad? I'll tell you why Trump's approval numbers are bad, because they're throwing in and they're pouring in the Democrats and the socialists into that same pot, that same pool, instead of separating out. How much is Trump liked with Republicans / MAGA? Be honest. It shows as soon as you look at the numbers. But you won't hear that when you're looking at these people on X, or even some people on news. Oh, his approval rating is low. We're not going to get these idiots to vote for Trump. They're not going to vote for Rubio. They're not going to vote for J.D. Vance. I don't even know why we put them in the mix when we're talking about approval ratings.
Here's his record so far, 100% when it comes to U.S. Senate candidates. He's backed 98% of those House candidates, 75% of governor races, that an average success rate of 97%. I mean, that is remarkable. People do want what he's about, and that seems to be something that you can capture, jump into. So talk to me about how you're going to do that and why you want to get all the Republicans together in the state of Florida.
Because the reason why all Republicans are going to come together is very simple, Harris. We are a conservative-leaning state. We have been for quite some time. The fact that 8 years ago, the Democrats had a 300,000 voter advantage in this state, and today, under the leadership of Ron DeSantis, Florida has moved to a state with 1.5 million more Republicans than Democrats.
Do the math on that. We were underwater to the Democrats. There were more Democrat voters than Republican voters. And now we've got over 1.5 million voter lead down here. So DeSantis must have done something really good. Can't take it away from him. You guys can be pissed at him. Certain people, Democrats, something must have worked. And that's why we're saying earlier about Byron, is don't come in here with anything stupid. Don't say anything stupid between now and November. Just say I'm gonna do what Ron DeSantis did. I'm gonna follow what Trump and Ron DeSantis want me to do. It's no slack on you. It's just an easy model to win. And that's the point of me showing this is understand, here's the model. Just do what has already been working. Don't break anything. Now, he's got a little bit of a speed bump he's going to have to get over that Ron DeSantis didn't have to get over. And that's because there are a certain amount of people on the right, a certain amount of people who are Republican, are MAGA, who simply have a problem with him because of how he looks. They won't say it. They'll pretend, oh, it doesn't bother me. That's not anything I'm going to be concerned with. Yeah, it is. I've seen some of the people talk. I've seen what some of the people have said. You know his background. You understand what he did when he was younger, and we didn't like these pictures that he took in the club. And I'm thinking to myself, weren't you in a club when you were younger? Did you take some crazy pictures when you were in college? Did you say some stupid things? Why are you bringing it up about Byron? You didn't bring it up about Ron. You ignored it about Trump. But now all of a sudden, and let me just tell you, I'm talking about people we've actually interviewed on this show. People who we've had on this show, so many of them have gone completely effing crazy. We'll never interview them again. And I've heard them say some things about him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is it racist? Is it okay that we have a Trump and MAGA community as long as it's Trump and MAGA and white? Does he rub people the wrong way because he was kind of gruff when he lived up north? I used to live up north. People say I'm kind of rough now. I'm 100% Trump. I'm 100% MAGA. You know, I always ask the people who are detractors, show me anything specifically which he voted for in Congress that shows he's not going to be MAGA oriented. Just show me any vote. Don't tell me about a drink he had in a bar. Don't tell me who he hung out with. Show me what his resume says, because I'm starting to doubt you. I'm really starting to doubt some of the people on the right and MAGA.
It's not just COVID-19. It's people choosing freedom, choosing liberty, choosing a state that just makes sense. The people in our state are sick of New York. They're sick of Chicago. They don't want the crazy of California. And that's why the Angie Nixon, David Jolly ticket, that's going to be a disaster for Democrats, because our voters do not want socialism and they don't want Democrat crazy. And that's before you even start talking about Cubans in the state of Florida, Venezuelans in the state of Florida. They fled communist regimes. They fled tyranny of socialism. They do not want that here in our state. And so we believe that we're going to be very successful this November. But at its core, it's about affordability. And we're going to stay focused on the kitchen table issues of the people of Florida. And Harris, I'll tell the people of Florida this. The Democrats wrecked this economy. They're the ones that created inflation. So how are you going to hire the arsonist as your firefighter? That makes no sense at all. That's why we're going to win this November.
Yeah, I know that Senator Ashley Moody is also part of this victory rally that you have coming up. And when I said bring Republicans together, I didn't mean just the voters. You're doing it with those people who are atop the ticket for different categories and leadership. I want to get to this. At the same time, we are seeing a huge battle within the Democrat Party over its ideology. And Congressman Donalds, you touched on this. Let's go deeper. We're hearing this refrain over and over, including from some who may be eyeing a 2028 White House bid. Let's watch.
I think the Democratic Party has to be a big tent party where people can have different ideas on how we solve a problem, as long as we agree that that problem exists.
I think if we want to be in the majority, we're going to have to be a big tent party.
It's a big tent. I've always said I'd rather not be in charge of a party that is lockstep this way. We do have.
You've always been lockstep. What the hell are you talking about? There's been no fraying. Or at this point, Fetterman is like the only person who's kinda on the fringe, but he still comes back and votes lockstep. Every one of your votes were basically 100-0. So you are what you say you don't want to be. You've always been that way. You keep a tight ship and you brag about it. Now you're talking about this Big Tent thing, but notice what none of them said. None of them said, I like their ideas. None of them said, you know what, maybe we should do, no, we got to win. We got to be in power. That's all they care about.
Big tent. It's tremendously exciting for all of us, for the big tent of the Democratic Party.
We are a big tent party. This is a big tent Democratic Party going into the fall.
I mean, my joke about this is that REI and other tent purveyors are probably thrilled at this lingo. Your thoughts?
Well, you can tell that they went and they focus grouped the phrase that they want to use. But I think it's important for the voters of America to take a step back and remember that about six years ago, there was somebody else who said that they were a big tent party, and that was Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, when he got into the White House, he had radicals run this country into the ground. Everything from borders to our economy and our foreign policy were all in flames because of the small tent of the Democrat Party that truly focuses around radicalism and socialism. And that's why that stuff has been defeated here in Florida. It will be defeated again this November. But we have to make sure that the Democrats do not have power, because all they're going to be talking about is impeachment, open borders, and socialist policy. And that is not a recipe for success for the people of our country, and definitely not for the people of Florida.
And they want to abolish ICE, get rid of the U.S. Supreme Court, cancel the presidency, and so much more. I don't know who will be running the country, because all the things they're running for, they want to get rid of. Your last quick thought.
Listen, once again, the American people are going to choose the common sense conservative policies of Republicans over the crazy democratic socialism from Democrats, because it doesn't matter what Democrats on your ballot. At the end of the day, when they're in the chamber or they're in the mansion, they're going to govern like radicals. And we've seen it time and time again in our country. We cannot let up. There's a reason why Florida is better than these blue states. There's a reason why people choose Florida every single day, is because we get out of your way. We let you live your lives, and we use common sense.
Appreciate you, Byron.
To me, that's the most important thing. People always ask, Barry, you like Trump and he's doing nothing for you. And I always answer that, I'm not looking for the president to do anything for me. Byron hit it right there. That should gain him some votes. Just going to get out of your way. We're going to let you do what you need to do, succeed how you want to succeed, prosper like you want to prosper. We're just going to get out of your way, get government out of your way. That should gain him some votes. That's what government should be. Make sure that we can facilitate your prosperity, facilitate your opportunity. It's up to you to run with it. It's up to you to make sure you can fulfill and seize those opportunities, not the government. The government just has to say, go for it, man. Go for it. Do what you need to do.